Pallets of whole watermelons hit the receiving dock already pre-cooled from the field chain. Because temperature is the first lever for juice quality, colder fruit slows microbial growth and reduces flavor loss during processing. Each lot is sampled for sweetness and maturity using handheld or inline near-infrared sensors that estimate Brix, and the plant uses that data to blend loads so the final juice stays within a tight sugar specification without relying on added sweeteners. Before a single melon is opened, the line treats the outside as contaminated packaging, not edible produce. High-capacity flume channels carry melons through a staged wash system that starts with debris removal and ends with sanitizing sprays, typically using controlled dose, parasitic acid, or chlorine alternatives. Rotating brush beds scrub the rind while the fruit spins, and the water system runs counter-current, so the cleanest water touches the cleanest fruit, cutting total water use while improving hygiene after washing. Optical inspection and weight grading make the process economical. Machine vision cameras check for cracks, deep bruises, and sunburn that can carry higher microbial loads or off flavors. Load cells and sizing rollers classify melons by diameter and mass, because consistent size improves cutting accuracy and stabilizes downstream throughput. Uneven melons force slower blade speeds and create more trim waste. The cutting hall is built around one constraint. You need to expose red flesh fast while keeping metal, rind, and soil out of the juice stream. Industrial slicers use stainless steel circular blades or synchronized guillotine knives, often with servo-driven positioning so the cut lands exactly where the flesh begins. Some plants split each melon in half, others quarter it. But the goal is the same: create uniform pieces that a flesh separation machine can process without jamming. Once opened, the factory shifts from produce handling to wet processing. And the core challenge becomes separating three materials efficiently: juice, rich flesh, fibrous rind, and seeds. Mechanical depulpers use perforated drums with internal paddles that push soft flesh through screen openings, while tougher rind is retained and discharged. Screen size is a major quality parameter. Finer screens reduce pulp content and improve clarity, but they also shear cells harder, which can raise pectin release and increase viscosity. Making clarification more difficult later, seeds are handled as a contamination risk and a yield opportunity. Rotary sieves and hydrocyclones exploit density differences, pulling heavier seeds out of the juice pulp mixture while allowing liquid and fine pulp to pass. For seedless varieties, the seed load is lower but not zero because white immature seeds still appear. So, separation equipment is still required to protect pumps and prevent bitterness from crushed seed fragments. From here, the plant chooses its product style: fresh knot from concentrate juice with natural pulp, or clarified juice designed for longer shelf life and a cleaner mouthfeel. If pulp is desired, the line may only use coarse screening and then go straight to pasteurization. If clarity is required, the juice goes into a controlled clarification train that looks more like a beverage refinery than a fruit room. Clarification starts with deaeration, because dissolved oxygen accelerates color fading and cooked flavor notes. Vacuum deaerators pull oxygen out under reduced pressure, and some systems add nitrogen stripping to drive oxygen even lower. Less oxygen means better lycopene stability, and lycopene is the pigment that makes watermelon juice red and marketable. Next comes enzymatic treatment, which is one of the most high-tech steps in modern fruit processing. Pectinases and cellulases are dosed at precise rates to break down pectin networks and cell wall fragments that trap juice and cause haze. Temperature and hold time are controlled within a narrow band, because underdosing leaves the juice cloudy and difficult to filter, while overtreatment can thin the body too much and change flavor perception after enzymes do their work. High-speed disc stack centrifuges separate fine pulp and colloids. These centrifuges spin at thousands of Gs, forcing heavier solids outward while clarified juice flows from the center. The efficiency here is measured in turbidity and yield. Every extra % of juice recovered from pulp reduces raw fruit demand and lowers cost per liter. The separated solids are not just waste many plants, send them to a secondary press or decanter to recover additional juice. Then, route the remaining fiber to animal feed, composting, or anaerobic digestion for premium clarity. Membrane filtration can follow centrifugation. Cross-flow microfiltration pushes juice tangentially across a membrane surface so solids don't cake as quickly. Maintaining flux and reducing downtime, membrane pore size is selected to balance clarity and flavor. Overly aggressive filtration can strip aroma compounds carried on fine particles. So plants tune membrane stages to meet a specific haze target. Rather than chasing laboratory-clear liquid at the expense of taste, acidity. Management is another control point because watermelon is naturally acid compared to citrus, which affects both flavor and food safety. Inline pH probes and dosing pumps allow the plant to adjust with permitted acids like citric acid when the product requires a certain pH range for stability and regulatory classification. The adjustment is done in mixing tanks with high shear agitation to prevent localized hotspots that could create harsh sour notes. Now, the juice must be made safe without destroying the fresh character, and this is where thermal engineering dominates. Most high-volume plants use HTST pasteurization, meaning high temperature for short time, achieved with plate heat exchangers. Thin stainless plates create turbulent flow, maximizing heat transfer so the juice reaches target temperature quickly, holds for seconds, and then is rapidly cooled, minimizing cooked flavors while delivering the required microbial kill. Temperature control here is fully instrumented. RTD sensors measure inlet and outlet temperatures, flow meters confirm residence time, and a fail-safe diversion valve automatically sends juice back to the balance tank if conditions fall below the validated pasteurization set point. This is not optional automation. It's the backbone of HACCP compliance and the reason a plant can run continuously at thousands of liters per hour without risking an unsafe batch, for even better quality retention. Some facilities add alternative technologies, but they still integrate them like industrial modules. High-pressure processing is often used after packaging for premium fresh juice, applying uniform pressure to inactivate microbes with minimal heat. But it requires packaging that can withstand compression and a batch-based workflow. UV treatment can reduce microbial load in clear juices, but it depends on low turbidity. So it pairs naturally with the clarified line rather than the pulpy line. Color and flavor protection continue after pasteurization, because hot juice is vulnerable to oxidation and aroma loss. Many plants use flash cooling and keep tanks blanketed with nitrogen to limit oxygen pickup. Aseptic buffer tanks maintain sterile conditions between pasteurizer and filler, allowing continuous processing even if packaging equipment stops briefly, which prevents product loss and avoids repeated heating cycles. Packaging is selected based on distribution, shelf life, and cost per unit. For refrigerated juice, clean fill into HDPE bottles may be used, followed by rapid chilling and cold chain logistics. For ambient shelf-stable juice, aseptic filling into multi-layer cartons or PET bottles is typical. Where sterilized packaging and sterile product meet in a sealed sterile chamber, often with hydrogen peroxide vapor used to sterilize the package, surfaces before filling. Every package is checked like a component in a precision assembly line. Checkweighers reject underfilled units to protect labeling compliance. Vision systems verify cap presence, correct label, and readable date codes. Leak detectors and pressure decay tests catch seal defects that would ruin shelf life and create microbial risk. Quality control in a modern watermelon juice plant is constant and data-driven. Brix is measured in line with refractometers to keep sweetness stable, especially when blending different lots. Color is monitored using spectrophotometers or colorimeters to ensure the red hue stays within brand specification. Because consumers read color as freshness, turbidity meters track clarity targets, and dissolved oxygen sensors verify that deaeration is doing its job. Microbiology is managed through both preventive design and verification testing. Swab testing checks for sanitation effectiveness on contact surfaces. Finished product sampling verifies absence of pathogens and acceptable total plate counts. Environmental monitoring focuses on wet areas, drains, and filler zones where biofilms can form. Because the fastest way to lose a juice plant's uptime is a contamination event that forces extended cleaning and product holds. Sanitation itself is engineered for speed and repeatability. Clean-in-place systems circulate caustic wash, rinse, acid wash, and sanitizer through pipes. Tanks, pasteurizers, and fillers at controlled temperature and flow velocity to remove sugar films and microbial residues. Conductivity sensors confirm chemical concentration, and automated valves ensure every circuit receives the full programmed cycle, reducing human error and shortening the time between production runs. Water and energy efficiency are designed into the utilities because juice plants move enormous volumes of liquid. Plate heat exchangers often run in regenerative mode, where hot pasteurized juice preheats incoming cold juice, recovering a large portion of thermal energy. That regeneration reduces steam demand and stabilizes temperature control. Waste heat from refrigeration compressors can preheat wash water. And variable frequency drives on pumps match flow to real-time demand. Cutting electrical load during partial runs, waste streams are treated as recoverable resources whenever possible. Rind and fiber can be pressed for residual juice, then dried for feed or processed into fiber ingredients. Seeds can be cleaned and sold for roasting, oil extraction, or planting stock depending on variety and market. Wastewater is screened for solids and may go through dissolved air flotation to remove. Organics before discharge or on-site biological treatment, because fruit sugars create high BOD loads that can overwhelm. Untreated systems? What makes the process uniquely? High-tech is how quickly the plant turns a variable agricultural product into a standardized beverage using sensors, feedback, control, and separation science. Fruit quality changes daily with weather, harvest, timing, and variety. But the line compensates by blending, adjusting pH, controlling Brix, and tuning clarification parameters. The machinery is built to protect flavor molecules while meeting safety targets. And that requires tight control of oxygen, temperature, residence time, and sheared from whole melons to red juice. The factory is essentially running 3 factories at once: a hygienic produce line to manage outside contamination, a precision separation line to isolate juice from solids without damaging quality, and a thermal and packaging line that locks in safety and shelf life. When those systems are synchronized, the output is consistent sweetness, stable color, low oxygen, and predictable shelf life, produced at industrial scale from fruit that looks simple, but behaves like a complex biological material the moment a blade opens it.